Welcome back to The Wrap. Israel now saying it's disappointed by the Vatican's decision to recognize Palestinian statehood. A new treaty finalized today concerns the activities of the Catholic Church in Palestinian territory. While only a symbolic move, it also makes explicit that the Holy See is switching its diplomatic recognition from the Palestine Liberation Organization to the State of Palestine. In a statement, Israel's foreign ministry says, and we quote, "This move does not promote the peace process and distances the Palestinian leadership from returning to direct and bilateral negotiations. Israel will study the agreement and will consider its steps accordingly." The U.S. and Israel oppose recognition, arguing that it undermines U.S.-led efforts to negotiate an Israeli-Palestinian deal on the terms of Palestinian statehood. The American Jewish Committee calls the Vatican's recognition counterproductive, and the Anti-Defamation League says it was, quote, premature. Most of Western Europe has held off on recognition, but some countries have hinted that their position could change if peace efforts remain deadlocked. A 2012 UN vote recognized Palestine as a non-member observer state made up of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem, all land Israel captured in the 1967 Mideast War. This isn't the first time that the Vatican, under Pope Francis, has taken diplomatic moves knowing it would please some quarters and ruffle some feathers elsewhere. Just last month, the Pope referred to the slaughter of Armenians by Turkish Ottomans a century ago as, quote, genocide, prompting Turkey to recall its ambassador. What do you think of the Vatican, or what do you think they're trying to accomplish anyway by this move, Ms. Jandovitz?
Well, whether he's trying to accomplish renewed negotiations between Israel and Palestine, this is not something that is new for the Vatican, although it is a formal treaty. The Vatican has recognized Palestine as a state since the 2012 United Nations decision. It's interesting that the head of the reform movement, Rabbi Rick Jacobs, also agrees with the two-state solution, and he praises the Pope's moral leadership, but says it should not have been a unilateral decision.
This
Pope,
are
though,
you saying? Let me jump in here for a second. Are you saying the Pope issued an executive action on this?
that the Pope makes
exist?
He doesn't have a Congress.
Right, he doesn't have a Congress. Well, he has the bishops, right?
He does, but he's the head. He overrules
so.
everything.
Okay, or the Cardinals. Boy, I don't go to more often.
You made the point of him recently coming out about the Armenians and the genocide. Mm-hmm. This Pope, and it's one of the reasons a lot of people love him, he does not care as to how things appear or to sound or to appease people. He does what he really morally believes is the right thing. And so for that, I have to agree with him in this case.
I think this is a fabulous Pope, and he's very gay-friendly, for example. That certainly has probably ruffled feathers. He does what he feels is right. He's not political. And I think he's great. And as far as the decision he made, certainly, the greatest diplomatic minds of our time have been unable to solve this persistent problem. And so let's give him a try. And the other thing I want to say, I was just in Israel, and I went with a Jewish guide into the Arab quarter, and we all had lunch at an Arab restaurant, and everybody was laughing and hugging each other, and it was so touching to me. And I thought, wow, here we are in Jerusalem in an Arab quarter and a Jewish guide and everybody, the Arab store owner, and having fun and sharing food. There is a possibility for peace. I felt it as I sat there with these people. It's the politicians who have made it impossible. The people are capable of peace.
What did you order, by the way? What do you get at an Arab restaurant?
Being a vegan, I had some falafel.
You had the okay, very good. You saw that Seinfeld episode where the guy tries to open up the Pakistani restaurant?
Yes.
And it fails in like 2 days. But that's New York, and it's different over there. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent.
This is not a big deal. I mean, there's a reason that if you look at the wording that was used, disappointed, stuff, it was very soft. The Vatican already had an arrangement and a relationship and an agreement with the Palestinian Liberation. This means nothing. It's that simple. Look, I mean, Western Europe has been staying in line with the U.S. and Israel because we keep pretending that we can use this as the main baseball bat, if you will, to force an agreement. It's not happening. He just did this and we knew he was going to do it. Not a big issue. It's just not.
You didn't call him what you normally call him, by the
Whoa,
way.
Pope Frankie?
Pope Frankie,
I'm sorry,
yes.
Pope Frankie.
Right.
sorry.
Usually some
You're
love.
in really
Pope,
close
Pope
terms.
Frankie is the man. I do love him. This is not going to do either him, the Vatican, Catholics, or the peace process, such as it is, any harm whatsoever.
Decent PR move, though, for
Good PR
a
move
guy
for
who gets
Frankie.
more press than any pope that I can
Well
remember
deserved.
ever in my
Yes.
Well
lifetime.
Yes.
deserved. Well deserved.
Absolutely. Lisa, final word.
Absolutely, and you know, and again, this is not a surprise. And I agree with Rick. The responses, even the negative responses that we're hearing, are not on the high level of disappointed. I don't think overall this is going to make a big factor on either side.
Right.
For
But
anyone.
we are talking about it, so that means something on some
It does,
level.
but I think it's
Right.
going to go by rather quickly.
Pope Frankie for president.
Pope
That's
Frankie
my
for
last
president.
word on it.
There you go. Speaking of presidents and possible ones, Hillary Clinton under fire again, and not just over the number of questions she failed to answer. We'll tell you about what next. Stay right there.